our utility guy, but
Love him to
it's
death.
good. We can take out whatever we want in post. Happy Iran ceasefire day.
Hey, love that. I'm big.
Yep. We talked
Just
about probably a smart
creators.
move.
Creators, boy.
Yep. Shots being blocked left and right. Dowdy, how goes?
Oh,
How's Coach Dowdy?
From one place to another, we leave for a almost 400-person tournament tomorrow.
Nice.
400 teams in one city. Are you kidding me?
What sounds like the Ramada or the La Quinta is about to take a beating.
Yeah, I think every hotel in the area is just completely booked at this point. Airbnbs are booked. Which, speaking of which, what drives somebody to list an Airbnb for $30,000 a night? Can someone explain this to me?
Is this like
it's like a 5-bedroom
mansion?
house. Like, it's a really pretty house, but $30,000 a night, like, well,
is there like historical significance behind it? Like,
not
is
that
it
I
in a
know
movie
of
or something?
I don't know. It popped up and I started laughing. I was like, there's no way people actually booked this, right?
Hello, price gouging.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, shoot.
No one's paying that.
Make your mortgage for the year in one fell swoop. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. I see that ghost too. Nice. All about the warhead flip.
I'm grinding right now.
The warheads, the green apple, the black cherry ones, and the watermelon all slap.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
Not too sweet.
No.
Boogie that way.
Not nice and sour, even keel. The dream school, too sweet for me. Can't do it. No.
I'm the same way. I can do the Sour Patch Kid ones too. I did one of those this morning, but
I can survive those. But yeah, when you got podcast and 2 hours of packing after this, yeah, you bet, boys. Let's go. Strap it on.
And then road trip into the East Coast. I love it.
Flying.
Praise the Lord. Okay.
Praise the Lord.
I
refuse. I can't. I've driven to and from Atlanta too many times at this point. I don't need that 10-hour drive.
We made that drive when I was in college too to Passion, and it was cold. So now I'm sitting here going, hey, it ain't that bad. And as soon as I do it, I'm like, this is a mistake.
It's just not worth the extra full day of traveling.
Yeah.
Like a 2-hour flight, especially if you have Southwest points, worth it.
I agree. All right. Quick shout out to our own Mr. Duke.
Yeah, buddy.
Grew's Wolfpack by one. The Duke family welcomed their first child. Papa Duke is out of the mix for a couple of weeks, as he should be. Got his priorities in line. So Dowdy and I will be holding it down as so. So warm up a little bit. As always, we got batter up. I told Dowdy and Duke, let everybody else in on it too. We've been sleeping on batter up because there's more here than just pitchers. We can go look at jump shots, strike zone for pitchers. The teams one's kind of sloppy. I played around with that. We're not going to mess with that one yet. I have a good guess for this one right off the bat.
Give it to me.
I think it's Bryson Stott.
Okay. I can see that swing a little bit.
I'm stereotyping hard, but swing of a white guy. He's got the running mitt in the back pocket.
The old oven mitt, keeping those hands safe.
Let's try.
If you one-shot wonder this, I'm going to be so impressed.
No. Okay.
Then it could be who I thought it was.
Who do you think?
Give me Jackson Holiday.
Okay. Does he spell it weird? No, we're good. Dang.
Oh.
Okay. How many more?
NL.
Okay.
NL Central or West.
Right.
A low number and a second baseman. Weird age, though. Does that make him either 25 on the dot or like 30 something?
Yes.
It's got to be a young guy. There's no way.
It's not Albies. We already established it's not Stott.
NL Central, left-handed hitting second baseman.
That's not Acuna, Luis Angel, or whoever. Not Jeff McNeil. That's not Jeff McNeil.
Nope.
Okay. Washington, Luis Garcia.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Miami is
NL Central. I don't see a Cubs player there. Maybe a Pirate. I don't know who would
Nick
be at
Gonzalez?
second base. No, he's a righty.
Okay.
Oh,
Braden
boy.
Donovan? That's not Donovan, is it?
Donovan's thicker than that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Brewers.
Okay, maybe it's a West team then.
I'm going to be pissed.
It's not Arias. It's not. I don't think it's Tommy. Tommy has a flatter bat path normally.
Too thin to be Arias.
Too slow moving to be Arias.
Yeah.
Or too fast moving, I guess. Sorry.
Low number USA. Well, USA as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nico's a right-handed hitter, isn't he?
Yep. Why do I feel like it's going to be somebody from the Rockies or
go figure?
Yeah.
It's not Fitzgerald, is it? Fitzgerald's a righty.
Righty with a leg kick.
McMahon?
It's not Cattell, obviously. Could be Ryan McMahon.
Let's try it.
Lefty hitter.
Hold it. Golly. Well, they got him listed as third baseman. He is NL West, though.
So NL West.
From the USA.
But he is like 30-something then.
Yeah. Older.
Well, Cronenworth's not a second baseman.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they listed him as one because, well, Arias is a DH. This is where those utility guys are going to kill us.
Yeah. Who's the Giants' other utility guy? Do they have a lefty utility? No, they don't have a lefty utility guy, except for one we're going to talk about later.
Yep. That's being very liberal with the term utility.
Hey, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
On to greener pastures. And sure, I'll play anything, coach. Crazy how that works.
I'm going to cheat real quick.
Okay. Not Cattell. Not, no. Can't be Hyeseong Kim because he's not American. I mean, technically could be Tommy. Still don't see that in that swing.
Toglia's a first baseman. Let's look real quick. Let me try Giants again. Our two kryptonites, the Rockies and the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, you go to either of those teams, we're just not going to get it. No offense. We got to cheat. Oh, no. Tyler Wade's not a second baseman.
No. The Giants, I think of utility guys. So Adames is short. Chapman's third. Dom Smith is first. Brett Wisely.
You know, just for the heck of it, throw Tyler Wade in there. See if we can eliminate Padres, and I think his age should be close.
We are close. Padre,
it is Padre.
Base. So it's Cronenworth.
Who's not a second baseman.
I agree, but that's got to be it, right?
Right? I don't know who else it could be, but he's not a second baseman.
Boom.
That's so fake news.
Yeah.
Hey, now I got to look. How many games has Jake Cronenworth played at second this year?
Beautiful swing, though.
Okay. He's played 50 games at second this year. I'll give him that.
Okay.
I forgot they have the most immobile player on earth playing first base sometimes.
Very telling, kind of poetic that Braves are giving up that bomb. Sorry,
Schoenbeck. Yeah, don't even.
Is what it is.
Poor Sale. Yeah. Apparently, you just don't want me to pick you in any preseason anything, or else the season's going to, as shown by.
Hey, they have one solid all-star candidate. That's what I'll say about those. That's about it.
I mean, I was stunned that Gunner's WAR is over a 2 right now. Honestly, stunned.
Is what it is. Okay. We'll stay with the pros a little bit. So it's been about, I guess, a week since this deal's gone down. But Rafael Devers, now a member of the San Francisco Giants. Yeah. Cutting ties. So full deal, Rafael Devers to the Giants for Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, and James Tibbs. So I feel like over social media for the past couple of weeks, I've seen nobody do anything but roast this trade. Just because it's kind of become the Red Sox MO to trade away your franchise faces, your big cornerstones, which I hear it. Okay, Mookie, insert name here. It's happened before. I get it. And the reality is you paid Devers to a 10-year deal over 300 mil. I get it. However, you want to look at the return a little bit too. Okay. Jordan Hicks hurt currently, I believe. Not a great season thus far, but a high velo guy. Hopefully a high leverage guy in the bullpen. Extremely valuable for someone like the Red Sox. Kyle Harrison, sent to AAA, but once highly touted prospect. Potential there, long-term, plenty of control left. And then James Tibbs, 1 year into the pros, decent year thus far. FSU great. Like I am not sitting here. Well, and you dump the payroll, put that on a piece of it as well. I'm sure they're eating a piece of the contract, but you're not paying the 30 mil a year to a guy that you were. So I am personally of the opinion, I'm sitting here going, this trade is a pretty even wash, I think, in my opinion, especially when you have the idea that Devers, being the guy, was not willing to leave third base, but not go play first when the need arose. There's a little bit of an attitude deal here. So I am not trying to throw them under the bus like everybody else has. So what is your take here?
I'm slightly off of your take. I wouldn't call the deal a wash. I would say San Fran won the trade just because of what they gave up to get probably one of the top 10 bats in the league. Right. But I think as a Red Sox fan or owner or any part of the organization, you have to look at it as somewhat of a win because it feels like you're excising the cancer at this point. Like I know nobody has labeled him as such, but you could just get the feeling that there were not good vibes with Devers there.
Right.
When you have the guy making the most on the team, outright saying, no, I'm not going to play first base. And then as soon as he gets traded, said, yeah, I'll play first here. Like, what kind of message are we sending there?
Right.
That clearly to me showed, okay, the Red Sox had to make a move. I don't think sending him to San Fran was the right move, personally.
Yeah.
I think you hold out and leverage San Fran and San Diego against each other since they're both fighting the same giant. You're telling me San Diego wouldn't love to add Devers as their DH?
Yeah.
Like, San Diego is a team that's consistently willing to part with top-end prospects as well.
Right.
San Fran didn't want to do that. Their number one prospect, who the name's escaping right now, left-handed hitting first baseman.
Bryce Eldridge.
Bryce Eldridge. Yes. That was who they asked for. Red Sox wanted Eldridge. Didn't get him. Got a similar-ish piece in Tibbs. But I don't know how, as a Red Sox, you can count it as a wash when you didn't get the one guy you really wanted. Now, I think Hicks is a good add from the standpoint of there's no plan to make him a starter. He is going in the bullpen back to what he used to do very, very well. Hey, throw Thunder Biscuit sinkers and get outs late in the game, even if you're throwing the seventh. They have arguably the best closer in baseball right now in Aroldis Chapman, who, right, if everything goes belly up, they might sell both those guys for returns as it nears the deadline here. Kyle Harrison is a good reclamation project.
Right.
Like you talked about, I think he was a top 5 prospect in baseball at one point. This is 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
But he was the number 1 left-handed pitching prospect at one point. That's a guy that you kind of have to take a flyer on in this situation. I know you want a bigger ask. I know you want a bigger return. I think you win just getting rid of Devers and unloading the contract. it gives you a second to breathe and go, okay, how do we right the ship? How do we get us competitive next year? Because not to say they're out of it by any stretch this year, but you're now relying on a bunch of rookie bats to come through in big situations. Yes, you're getting Bregman healthy. You know that you have the guy in the middle of your lineup with that guy. But trusting Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell to be some combination of 5, 6, 7 probably. Like your win is that you're getting insane production out of Narvaez. Like that's a win for the Red Sox right now.
Right. There's two schools of thought to this too. One, long term, because you dump some of the money, I think the opinion has to be you get to keep one of your young guns long term.
Mm-hmm.
Boston is already a bigger market. You pay your big guys. It's not as inclined to let them walk, but it has happened. So I think if you look at it long term, it's okay. Yeah, we cut the cancer, we address some needs, and suddenly we have the money to pay Roman Anthony when the time comes, or something. Or we
extend Bregman.
Extend Bregman, or go make a splash in free agency.
Yes, where I don't know that anything in this free agency class warrants that kind of money. Now that Vladdy's off,
you're going to lose Giolito.
Yeah.
So you're at a point too. If you can roll Crochet and then Walker Buehler has not been the guy. If you can go sign a solid number 2, it makes you feel good.
I can see that. I also think, oh man, I'm going to butcher his name. Munataka, I believe is the last name. He's a left-handed hitting first baseman, I want to say, in Japan right now.
Right.
I believe he's supposed to be posted this winter. This could free up some money there.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, that addresses 2 needs, as you've kind of shown that Casas might not be the guy. Get a power bat there.
Right.
Like, I like the flexibility they've now developed. I also like it on the Giants side where it's like you went and got a bat that you badly needed. Because I think the weakest spot in their lineup is the power hitting spot.
Right.
You got a guy that's willing to try and play first base now. The only thing I don't love is that they may be bringing cancer into the org.
Right.
Like if one little thing's going to set him off like it did in Boston, and I guess it wasn't a little thing. It's a little thing to me because I was a role player in baseball. He's a superstar. I get it. Different egos, different thought processes. But when you have a guy like David Ortiz come out and say what he said, that you have to be willing to be flexible when you're that guy in the organization, I tend to side with a guy like David Ortiz.
Right. I agree, but let's sit on the Giants for a little bit, because the Giants have had the problem too, to where they've been in on big name free agents and they cannot land one.
Yep.
For whatever reason, no one wants to go to the Bay Area, whether it's management, whether it's the front office, whether it's the farm who's there, can't tell. But props to Buster Posey, that front office there, for pulling the trigger and getting a deal done, because you've missed out on Judge. You missed out on Ohtani. You missed out on Correa. You missed out on all these guys, but you finally bagged one. Yep. So hopefully, and he's under contract through like 2033, 2034. He's going to be there a while. So you've addressed a piece of a need, and maybe, just maybe, that's kind of the first one through the wall, kind of allows some more flow of players of that caliber to come in. So the Giants, I don't fault at all, outside of maybe the clubhouse stuff, which that's where we'll go next too. Is just based off kind of the, I guess we can call it immaturity of how this situation is unfolded. Devers, again, you're being paid $300 million. You are a cornerstone of the franchise, but you're not willing to do what the franchise needs to go learn a different position, or at least try. No, I'm not doing that. Brought in Bregman, not willing to go pick up a first baseman's mitt. And the ironic thing too is, I want to say between Bregman signing and the clubhouse documentary coming out was like a month. So we got to see kind of behind the scenes of how Craig Breslow works, the thought process in the organization, the development of players. You kind of already let it in with the Ortiz comment, but we've got to agree Devers is the villain here, right?
Putting my GM hat on, yes, okay. I absolutely see it this way. Also, I see a masterclass by Buster Posey, because he goes out there and he's like, hey, man, like, I know that former player running that organization kind of offended you, we're not going to say anything about what position you're going to play until we have a conversation of what you're comfortable doing here. So I think Buster did a great job of kind of massaging Devers' ego enough to the point of like, hey, man, like if we can get you in the lineup as much as humanly possible, meaning sometimes you're going to be at first base, this is a team that could win a World Series versus Boston saying, hey, we need you at first base because we don't have another.
Right.
And, you know, as the type of player I was, I'm the guy that, no, get me in the game. I don't care where I'm going.
Right.
I'll go shag baseballs if it gets me in the game. Like, I just put me in. Clearly, Devers is the superstar type, where it's like I was never that guy, so I never had to deal with that, where I thought I only played one position or only had one role. When you're the superstar, you can do that.
No, you can't, though. That's like the argument is the attitude, like you are not greater than the team. Right?
Correct. You should not ever think that way.
You are brought in to help the team win in whatever ways they deem necessary. So unless it is detrimental to your health or your longevity, which I would argue going from third base / DH to first is not, it's comparable. Lots of guys have made that switch. Suddenly I becomes greater than we. That's a problem.
100%, especially when you see a guy like Bregman choosing to sign here, saying, I'll play wherever you need me in the infield. Like, I don't, third, second, first, like, I'll learn it. I don't care. Yes. Story goes down, I'll play short. I don't care. Whatever. That's the kind of mindset and guy that you want to build around. I think that could have been another notch against Devers as Breslau's looking at this of, okay, what kind of deals can we make here? Like, do I want the guy that's going to do anything for the team so that the team can win? Or do I want the guy that I sunk $30 million into that's saying, oh, no, I'm not going to play anything but third base?
Right.
And a mediocre third base at that.
Yeah.
It's true. One thing if it's Matt Chapman and it's like, dude, I'm a platinum glover. Like, really?
Yeah, but this is defensively, ironically being in San Francisco, Devers playing third, which won't happen, is like a poor man's Pablo Sandoval.
Legitimately. Oh, can you imagine if it ages like Pablo going there? Oh man. No.
Ironically, the Pablo Sandoval experiment was kind of the inverse. Yeah. Yep. Went to Boston, got extremely overweight and just so okay. So
that is another thing I'm slightly worried about with Devers going there. He's been an East Coast guy his whole career. East Coast is far more Latin communities than the West Coast. He's not going to have the Dominican family feel that he probably got up and down the East Coast as he played. Like I just know from experience of my teammates, when we traveled up and down the East Coast, they would randomly like have families in cities that we went to where they're making them homemade meals of Dominican or Venezuelan or whatever descent to give them a taste of home.
Right.
That's much less likely than the West Coast. You don't have a ton of Dominican, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan families on the West Coast. They're mostly on the East Coast.
That's interesting because just the way baseball is and how the makeup of it, there's enough of a Latin influence. You don't think about what's in the city. You think about who's in the clubhouse to where it's across baseball. You're going to have Latin influence. That's fine. He'll get used to it, but no, I don't think about that. So could be interesting. So all things considered, post trade, the Giants are number 2 in the West. Not exactly clipping at the Dodgers' heels, like 3.5 games back. Does this get them over the hump? Does this can keep them in a wild card spot? Are they a playoff team post trade?
They're a playoff team, but I still think the West is the Dodgers and the Padres. Like the Dodgers said last postseason, that was our World Series. I think that remains. It's the best rivalry in baseball right now. There's bad blood left and right. The managers don't like each other. You got guys throwing at guys. Like, that's the rivalry everybody wants to see. That's the playoff games everyone wants to see. If that's not the NLCS, people are going to be kind of bummed, honestly.
Right.
Like, is there another series that you're like, oh, yeah, I'd rather see that? Not really. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe Mets and Dodgers would be fun, but I'd rather see Padres Dodgers.
Yeah, I think it's on paper, not to slight the Mets too. I think the Padres are just a better team on paper
Yes,
too, to where it's just a better matchup. So there's no one big strength over any aspect of the game between San Diego and LA like there would be between New York and LA. So
completely agree.
all right. Flipping the other way, the Red Sox, one game above 500, fourth in the AL East. Does the removal, the clubhouse being righted, does this get them in the right direction?
I think they start playing better baseball, but I don't think they're a playoff team at this point.
I would
The
agree.
the starting pitching pieces you were really hoping to hit on, you haven't. Like Garrett Crochet is who we thought he was. He has earned every cent that they paid him. Kudos, making that move and paying that man, good, because he is very likely a top 3 Cy Young contender this year. He's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of that rotation, I mean, you're going to be asking a lot of a Hunter Dobbins type. And it's like, is that fair?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have the back end pieces, but do you think the back end's going to keep you in games enough to let your young guys mature at the big league level? Because not to say Meyer, Anthony, or Campbell haven't looked good this year, but they've looked like rookies. They've looked like they can be exposed. It's not one of those where they're like, oh, no, like all 3 of these guys could be rookie of the year. That's not where you're at right now. And that's okay.
Right.
It's not to say that they're bust by any stretch. Like, I still think 2 years down the road, you're going to look at that lineup and go, oh, wow, like all 3 of these guys are 22, 23, 24. Like, okay, like we're ready to go now.
Right.
And I think the Devers breathing room gives them a chance to, okay, if we need to flip Aroldis and Hicks at the deadline, get a couple more pieces back after you trade off Teal and Montgomery, you now have the flexibility to do so. And you have the cash value to go spend and get the team ready for next year.
Right. Let me ask you this last question for this, then we'll move on to, but it was brought up in the press a little bit on how the front office in Boston did not communicate the move to anybody else. Nobody knew this was happening until it was done. So player comments I saw were Walker Buehler, and it might have been Crochet, some other veteran that was brought in, and their approach was pretty much, they don't know us an explanation. They're doing their job exactly what they can. Does that dynamic change just because Devers was who he was, a cornerstone of the franchise, a guy getting traded like that? Is there an expected communication between the front office and the clubhouse when a deal like that goes down?
I think when the guy is a good organizational guy, there is a conversation to be had.
Okay.
Because there is a little bit of a send-off party of, hey, this is what's going on, this is the situation, this is where the team's at. When it's this situation and there's some bad blood and you kind of just need to make a move, and I think the responses from those veteran players is the right response. Hey, we had no knowledge. They're doing their job. They're putting what they think is the best product we can put out there right now. They are trying to move pieces into the right places. They're backing up their organization. They're giving their GM a vote of confidence. And they're kind of subtly saying, hey, like, even with Devers, this wasn't the team that was going to go win a World Series. So we did need to change something. Whether that was performance, whether that was how he was in the clubhouse, the lack of willingness to move around the diamond, we'll say.
Right.
Who knows? But clearly, these guys seem to want to build something and pull together as an organization versus, what were we doing?
Baseball parents, let me talk to you for a second. Clontsy here. We are in the heat of summer. Most parents out there, not wise, but you're spending a fortune on BB Core bats, Bruce Bolt sliding mitts, and batting gloves. None of that matters if Braden, Bryson, Kaysen, and Landon are hitting a $195. So they got to put in the time and effort to train. When they do, make sure they're running around in baseballism gear, specifically talking about air mesh shorts. Make these kids get out and run. Run until they know the work ethic, and some baseballism air mesh shorts will keep them cool, keep them styling, and will affirm the love of the game. After they're done running, bring them in, let them load everything into a baseballism backpack, and hit the road. When you go to baseballism.com, use code PenPals for 15% off at checkout. Tell them the guys over at PenPals, Clontsy, Duke, and Dowdy sent you over. All right, we will segue that in because inevitably Boston's had one of the great farms, at least going into the season. We've seen a lot of those pieces get called up. So we'll segue that into future prospects. College World Series is now concluded. Congrats to the LSU Tigers. Go Tigers on an 8th NCAA men's baseball championship.
Boo.
So, I like it personally. That's a historic program. I understand like wanting the Cinderella team. It'd have been cool if Coastal had won.
At least make the series go 3.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, absolute flowers, hats off to Kate Anderson. Game 1, I mean,
right.
To get out of trouble the way he did and rebound by just dominating. Like, okay, yeah, well done, sir. You deserve every bit of that outing. Having your manager or head coach and first base coach running the first inning of a win or go home.
Yeah, that's a bad look.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And then to hear in the post conference or the post game press conference what was said in that exchange and what he got run for, he wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't cursing at the man. He didn't call him a name. Like, you got to be a little thicker skin and possibly the last game of the college season than to run the 2 leaders of the team.
Yeah. Not a great look on that. I get behind that. I'm still fixated on not that they were completely evenly matched, but again, Kate Anderson, 130 pitch, complete game. I think it was shutout. He give up one in the ninth?
Nope.
Okay.
1-0 win. What, 10 punchies?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
an unbelievable final outing of college baseball. Like, couldn't be happier for him. And again, I do think the right team won.
Right.
I just would have liked to see a 3-game series because I do think that matchup between those 2 teams is so interesting.
Right.
A very pitching heavy team versus a team that throughout the season just clubbed baseballs.
Yep. So, alas, it's over. So we are looking towards All-Star Weekend when the draft would go down. So, saw a lot of big name draft prospects in the College World Series as a whole, not just the final. The current number 1, let me back up. We'll do it this way. Based off the number of big name prospects that were there and how the College World Series played out, a lot of them shined. Is there a huge riser or somebody that drastically improved their draft stock, you think, going into July? That they are definitely, they're shooting up boards. This guy is comfortably in the first, if not top 10.
Yeah, I think as we talked about before this, there are 2 guys that really added some helium to their draft stock.
Right.
Because of what happened in the College World Series. One of the, or I guess neither of those 2 guys were possibly the guy that I was most impressed with. The Arkansas shortstop.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Everything about that young man's game, I am a fan of. The authority he swings the bat with, the pitch selection. Like, he wasn't one of those guys that was going up there hunting first pitch heater. More than half of his at bats, he's looking for breaking ball down and waiting until he gets it at a 2-2 count and then driving it out to center field.
Right.
That's very rare to find in a college bat. He's polished. He's got juice. Everybody wants to point at him for making the wrong decision in that last game Arkansas played. I disagree. I think he made the right decision. I think you take the for sure out. You make them beat you with extra bases the next at bat. Should have been out of it. Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah, not on him. I think he's the guy that I was most surprised by, just from the standpoint that, okay, he is who they have kept touting him to be. Whereas, like, I got a different feel from Justin LeBron when I watched him a little bit this year, where it's like, hey,
okay.
I think he's a really good player, but
Right.
everybody's saying he's hands down the 1-1 next year. That's where I got a little pause. Like, whenever that gets thrown out early, we need to take a step back, see how he handles top end pitching. Arkansas's guy did. The most helium, without a doubt, has got to be Gage Wood.
Right.
That was absolutely stunning to see how he just disassembled the other team in that, what was it, 20 punch outs?
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was fixated on the fact it was a no-hitter. I don't remember the...
Should have been a perfect game. And
Yeah.
that almost said more to me than the entire outing. When he was asked post-game what he thought of his outing, his first response and only response was, "I shouldn't hit that guy." Are you kidding? You just punched out 20 for a no-hitter.
Yeah.
In the College World Series, and your thought process was, man, I shouldn't have buried that curveball in that guy's foot. Because it wasn't a bad pitch. It was a back foot curveball.
No. Yeah.
He executed, but that's your only thought? Crazy. Yeah, ultra competitor. I mean, obviously, we all saw the stuff of, 96 to 99 with crazy vert and low vertical approach. Really good breaking stuff. Yeah, I don't know if scouts internally had already had him higher up the list than, say, draft models had. I know that from what you said, there's a little concern on his command of the baseball versus control of the baseball.
Right.
Which, again, like, we're moving away from a game that is command focused into a control focused game anyway.
Right.
You watch the majority of pitchers now, they're attacking the middle of the plate with their best stuff from pitch one, i.e. like a Hunter Brown. That's a guy that I see is fairly similar stuff-wise,
right,
as Gage Wood. It took Brown 2 to 3 years to become a more command-focused power arm than he was early on, where it was like, okay, I'm throwing everything down the middle, and damage is going to happen, whatever. Like, it's part of the process.
Right.
I can easily see Gage Wood being that type of guy.
We're at a point too. So Pipeline had him as the number 50 overall draft prospect. Yeah, I was about to say, man, that definitely low and wrong after the World Series is over. But I think the type of pitcher that Gage Wood is plays to the direction, kind of like you said, of pitcher development in today's league too. So obviously the fastball is elite, the curveball is strong, the changeup and slider are present, but could use some more. You develop that more when you get into pro ball. If you can master 3 of those to a good, almost great level, I don't know that you're looking at like a Paul Skeens type guy, but it's definitely a front end starter for sure.
Yeah.
So
ceiling's a 2, floor is a 3rd or 4th starter.
Right.
When you're looking at him, like, stuff wise, you're like, dude, I mean, how is he not in the top end of a rotation?
Right.
Another thing I love is just the build itself. Like, he seems like a guy that takes care of himself. Obviously, through 130 pitches in that no hitter.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to be losing steam at all. I think the last heater he threw was 98.
Yep.
Like, I'm here for guys like that. They want the ball, that want to compete, they want to go get things done. Wouldn't have surprised me at all if he would have tried to come back on the 3rd day of the World Series and throw the pen. He seems like that guy.
Maybe. And I guess that's what caught my attention too. If there's command and control issues, you think the bigger the stage, the more likely you are to just kind of see that rear its head. Nope. Electric, lights out. No problems whatsoever. Back foot hit, whatever. But I would have to think this propels him into top 10.
So I was just looking at that, honestly.
Okay.
In my book, he might even leapfrog Liam Doyle. From what I saw Doyle in the postseason versus what I just saw that young man do, I don't know, man. Like, both guys are absolutely electric. I think Doyle's got the better breaking ball right now, but I think Gage has the better fastball as of right now. I think there's more swing and miss in the heater.
Ironically, Pipeline has Liam Doyle listed at number 9.
Yeah.
So if you put him right behind that, that would be top 10. And golly, man, you look at some of the arms in the top 10: Kate Anderson, Jamie Arnold, Kyson Witherspoon, Liam Doyle, and probably Gage Wood. Teams that are close to contending should be ready to pounce, which that we'll transition to my riser. Riser is being liberal with the term because it's not that much, but Kate Anderson, after that performance as well, pretty much just...
It's almost a cementing. It's not a rising at this point.
Correct.
It's, oh, man, we thought he was that good. Oh, man, he is that good.
Right. Again, kind of the biggest stage that those guys can play at currently. Um,
And
cementing.
what
Go
you
ahead.
love with Cade Anderson there, you saw him battle through a little bit of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Had runners on early, found his way out of it. Like those are big intangibles that you don't see a ton from college guys because if they're first round talents, they usually go pretty unscathed. Right. You think about Skeens, his season of college baseball at LSU, no one really challenged him. He just mowed through everybody.
Right.
Cade Anderson finally had a little bit of a challenge, and he pitched his way out of it and then built on the pitching. Right. And then went 8 more innings of domination.
So the question I have looking at it, and pull up draft order real quick, but I know the Washington Nationals have number 1 overall. All the projections have Ethan Holiday going number 1 to the Nationals. Given where the Nationals are at, not quite ready to open that window, but they're not far off. You have to suddenly prioritize arms, is my argument in that situation, I think. So I understand, like, you've got CJ Abrams, you got a shortstop. I think Garcia's the second baseman. You've got like kind of the middle infield guys, or could easily get to cement your infield going forward. Arms are never going to go out of style, metaphorically. Don't you have to go for an arm at number 1?
I wouldn't say you have to. I think an arm is the low-hanging fruit and easier to justify of like, oh, well, we see our window opening in 2 years. We think this is a guy that can be in the rotation within those 2 years. What worries me is I do think the top pitching prospects that are collegiate arms, high polish guys, are lefties going into an already lefty-heavy rotation. I think if there was a true top 5 righty that people were Skeens-ish on, and that's kind of unfair to say because he was a clear 1-1. I'm trying to think of a righty recent memory. Maybe a Matt Harvey type where it's like, okay, he's clearly a top 10 righty arm. I think it's an easier conversation to have then.
Okay.
I don't think the kid out of Corona is at Seth Hernandez. I don't think he is going to be timetable-wise what they need right-handed arm.
Right.
Not to mention that taking high school arms is just risky. In general.
Yep.
Like you could hit Hunter Green or you could hit the myriad of guys that washed out in high A. You just never know.
Yeah.
I think the Ethan Holiday pick is just one of those where it's like, man, do you take the chance of missing on a generational talent? Because by all accounts, he's just as good, if not a better prospect than Jackson was coming out.
The pedigree is definitely there.
Has more size.
Yeah.
Has already shown he can hit at the same caliber. Like high school numbers, Jackson, I think, had slightly higher average his senior year, but Ethan blew him out of the water with homers.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Good spot to be in.
And it's one of those where it's like he's already that bigger body, so he kind of fits perfectly as a third baseman prototype. You haven't had that guy since Zimmerman left in Washington. Could this be the next face? And then I love the idea of Jackson and Ethan being like 45 minutes away from each other in Washington and Baltimore. I think that's hilarious.
That'd be cool. Is that the Freeway Series? What do they call that?
I think so.
Something like that, but that would be fun to watch. Quick recapping. I guess we'll go top 10. Washington's at 1. Angels are at 2. Doesn't matter who they draw.
Just take an arm.
Yeah.
There you go. Seth Hernandez to the Angels. Keep him home. Corona's like 30 minutes from Anaheim. It'll be fine.
I don't wish that on any of these guys, though. LA or Angels or Colorado, no thanks. Seattle at 3 is what's intriguing because if you get a collegiate arm, there's a potential that, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, and insert name here.
Can you imagine if Ethan happened to fall to 3? Oh, boy.
He won't fall past 2.
I can't see Anaheim passing on him after the third baseman they've had the last few years.
Yoan Moncada. You're talking about Yoan Moncada, right?
Yeah, exactly. That guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be interesting. Colorado at 4 doesn't matter. St. Louis at 5 is interesting. Ironically, they're not out of it like we thought they would be. So a collegiate arm would fit the bill there.
That feels like a Jamie Arnold type pick.
Right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh at 6, they need so much. That's more of a mess than we thought it was.
They'll take
Miami.
another high school shortstop. Don't worry.
Miami at 7, they need a lot. Toronto at 8, that's interesting. Could make a case for an arm there as well. Cincinnati at 9 and Chicago at 10. So Cincinnati, that's another one I'm sitting here going collegiate arm because your talent is at the show already. You need somebody that can get there quick.
You either need a quick arm or you need a college polished bat. You need like a Laviolette or an arm that's ready to go.
Which Laviolette fell out of the top 10, probably as you should have, based after the season A&M put together. But your point is still valid. Could be a quick riser.
Would be very interesting there because you're looking. Yeah, you do need a corner outfield type bat there.
Right.
Interesting. That power would play a Great American.
It would. Okay. So just to let everybody know, we are watching the draft heavily. So as boards and things get released, mocks, if you will, we will be paying attention to that, kind of having feedback on what's smart, what's a good fit, what's not. So, thanks for paying attention to PenPals, everybody. Anything else you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I got nothing, man.
It's all good. Still the most wonderful time of year.
Is it? It's 100 degrees in Houston, and
it's baseball season, man. Basketball's over. The only thing, it's either baseball or looking forward to football at this point.
You know what? My final thought here.
Sure.
I really love for the city of Houston to stop getting absolutely pummeled by rain in between 95 degrees. I'd really love that.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. The last month. Oh my Lord.
I mean, look at last summer though. That was a desert. We got no rain.
I'll take it. I'll take the desert. Oh yeah. Because then I don't have to worry about cancellations of games and finding facilities that are covered. Yeah, no, I don't know.
It hits you differently than it hits me. That's for sure. I sympathize with your pain.
Either way, just Houston summers. Oof.
All right. So cheers to no rain from here on out, and we'll catch you next time on PenPals. Thanks, everyone.